watching the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to for accurate, dependable weather forecasts 24 hours a day.
The weekend is ending with cold and dry weather, but a change of weather is in sight. Stay with the Weather Channel and we'll tell you when a change is going to come.
Indeed, we are expecting it to turn a lot stormier as we get toward the end of the week, and the western and central part of the country could deal with the brunt of that. Details coming up in just a bit on that forecast. In the meantime, though, cold, dry weather dominates much of the country. In Minneapolis today, temperatures averaged about 10 degrees below normal with a high temperature of only 36 degrees. So a real chilly one across the Twin Cities after a low of 15 degrees. And that's what most of the people in the eastern part of the country had to deal with on this Sunday. Look at these departure from normal low temperatures. It started crisp and cold, especially in Arkansas, with some record low temperatures down into Texas. So cold temperatures for much of the country Sunday morning and not much change for the afternoon. Cold air settled into the east. Temperatures in Cincinnati and Cleveland 15 to 20 degrees below normal, as well as Jackson and Mississippi. Big Apple just about 10 degrees below normal there for this afternoon. So cold air dominated the eastern part of the country. Cool high coming down out of Canada, responsible for the cold temperatures in the eastern part of the country. And it also forced much of the moisture out to sea in the Atlantic and the Gulf of Mexico. We've got a reinforcing shot of cool air, some clouds and a few flurries, but that system doesn't have much moisture to work with. Well, things are pretty quiet in the west, but that could change as we head on into the latter stages of the week. Right now, the clouds generally moving from northwest to southeast across the country. Still, our subtropical jet stream, though, is carrying some clouds and a little bit of moisture into South Texas, some clouds into Florida. That could eventually bring some more rain to the southern portions of the Lone Star State. Houston, San Antonio could get some rain later tonight, tomorrow from that system. Then Tuesday, maybe northern and central Florida. But in the meantime, outside of that, though, that's where the moisture will be. The rest of the country looking for dry weather and another shot of cool air coming into the eastern part of the country. Radar, very, very quiet. That front has pretty much cleared out all the moisture, except for a few stray showers down across southern Florida. Some spritzes around the Keys last hour, but even here, the moisture diminishing and looking for at least a very, very limited chance of rain in Florida tomorrow as the drier air will take over even there. And with our next reinforcing shot of cool air, just a few flurries being reported out there, a few rain showers around Rochester and Minnesota, but dry weather is the rule here across the plains. But changes are coming for the weekend. Here's our shot of cold air. Here's our reinforcing shot of cold air. Just kind of swings through the east. This little kink here, watch what happens to this by the end of the week. Big storm system developing in the west, could even bring rain to Southern California, and could be our real first shot of heavy mountain snow developing in the central Rockies. Meanwhile, in response to that, jet stream bulging up could lead to a warming trend in the east as we head toward the end of the week. So let's take a look at the details of the forecast for you. We'll start with the morning map tomorrow. Another crisp morning in the eastern part of the country. Some frost and freeze advisories out for South Carolina and coastal North Carolina. Here comes another shot of cool, dry air for the most part. Maybe a few clouds and flurries with it. Perhaps Chicago could get a stray flurry tomorrow. Maybe Detroit, but really not much more than that. So that subtropical jet gets a little wetter, a little bit of Gulf moisture, maybe some light rain in Houston, San Antonio, perhaps getting in toward New Orleans by the end of the day. But the key word here is light, and that could eventually move into Florida by Tuesday. Meanwhile, the rest of the country is staying dry and generally on the chilly side. Rain amount's going to be scarce and mainly developing late tonight, tomorrow in Texas and Louisiana. While still enough of a wind out of the west coming off the Great Lakes, there'll be a few flurries and a few snowbelt areas could get an inch or two of snow, but it's going to be the exception rather than the rule. But cool weather, it's still dominating much of the country overnight tonight, and the east is still going to have a chilly day tomorrow. There's that reinforcing shot of cool air, keeping it crisp in Minneapolis, and that cool air pushing towards Chicago and Detroit as well. As we go on through the week, we talked about that big storm system developing here in the west. That's going to bring temperatures down in the west, but in response to that, east is going to heat up. 60s into Dallas by Wednesday. As you get into Atlanta, maybe as we get into Thursday, the 60s coming back. The extreme northern tier of the country will stay chilly, but the trend will be for warming in the east as that ridge builds. While temperatures will start dropping, it'll get cloudy and unsettled in the west. So we're going to start with generally a cool, dry pattern, but that subtropical jet could keep a few disturbances migrating along the Gulf Coast with a shower or two here and there. And in the core of the cold air, a few flurries dot the northern landscape. But then that trough starts dropping in, could bring some rain all the way down to Southern California by the time Wednesday and Wednesday night roll around. A little Gulf moisture starts to come on up, and the big storm in the Rockies dumping heavy snow, showers and thunderstorms, and some of them could be heavy Thursday into Friday as that big storm system comes on out of the Rockies and into the plains. So the pattern changing, going from cool and dry to a very stormy pattern, especially in the west. We'll keep you posted on what that could mean in California and how heavy the rain will be. Stay tuned now for your local weather.
How to dress for school tomorrow. The school day forecast is coming up. Stay with us here on the Weather Channel.
There's a porcupine in my throat.
Sore throats hurt. That's why we introduced new Triaminic sore throat formula. The first children's medicine made for coughs and colds with sore throats. Triaminic, just tell us where it hurts.
Look for Trimedic at your local pharmacy.
V8 has vegetables in it.
You can actually taste the vegetables. You know, your tomatoes, spinach, celery, carrots.
It's zippy kind of thing, a zippy thing.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel.
Current regional conditions. Special regional information. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Your region's long-range outlook. The regional forecast. The extended forecast. Local radar showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
Some people get nasal congestion, but if you get sinus congestion, use a sinus spray like Sinex. Only Sinex has a decongestant plus Vicks Vapors, so you can feel your swollen passages open up. For sinus, think Sinex.
Yoplait, calcium-rich, active yogurt cultures, 99% fat-free. That's why Shonda Sawyer does it every day. Smooth, creamy Yoplait. Do it for you.
I was blown away when my dentist told me I had tartar. Doctor, I said, I use regular baking soda toothpaste. My teeth feel clean. Jakey said, it's not enough. Use new tartar control Crest with baking soda, and your teeth will be cleaner.
Now you can get the clean feeling of baking soda and proven tartar control from Crest in a toothpaste that prevents tartar better than regular baking soda toothpaste.
So I brushed with tartar control Crest with baking soda, and my next visit's great. I finally cleaned up my act.
A smart choice from the dentist's choice.
Time for the school day forecast, which is sponsored by European-style hot chocolates. Save the taste of new Nestle European-style hot chocolates and make the world go away. All right, it's time to take a look at Monday morning's forecast map, and boy, there's not a lot to talk about out there. Most of what we'll be talking about this evening will be what's coming, because things are so quiet out there. The atmosphere is very dry, so as you head out to work and the kids get out of the school bus and head out to school, well, the only places we really need to be talking about umbrellas is maybe across southern parts of Texas, around Houston, down to Corpus Christi, and even down to Brownsville. So in this location, you may want to grab the umbrella just to be sure. No place is really going to be brutally cold. It's going to be cooler than normal along the eastern seaboard, and it looks like the west will be kind of cool in the morning as well. So for the umbrellas, you'll need the umbrellas along the Gulf Coast states, maybe some mittens needed here around the lakes, and bundle up the kids across the north. It's still going to be chilly out there. They'll definitely need the winter coat.
Pile up the logs and pull out the blankets. Cold weather has arrived. We'll see just how long these temperatures will stick around next on the Weather Channel.
Introducing Nestle European-style hot chocolates. Savor the richness of Swiss chocolate truffle. And make the world go away. Nestle European-style hot chocolates.
Nobody does it like you, the way that you do. Hoover, nobody does it like you.
Look for fine Hoover products at a retailer near you.
Through the years, the mothers of America have had a kind of medical training. They've learned from countless doctors and pharmacists that the way to take care of a cough is with Robitussin. And now at home, the mothers of America are putting this advice to work. Robitussin, recommended by Dr. Mom. Which Robitussin is right for you? Ask your doctor or pharmacist. And for your little patient, try Robitussin Pediatric Cough and Cold Formulas.
It's time for Weather and Your Health, which is sponsored by the makers of Robitussin, recommended by doctors, pharmacists, and Dr. Mom. As we take a look at the respiratory distress, you can see there's a lot of yellow on the map. That indicates things running fairly close to normal. So if you're one of those that does have a bad cold, I know flu season is just about here. A lot of folks are sick out there with the cough and the sneezing and so forth. You suffer from asthma. Well, it looks like you're in pretty good shape across the country. We don't really have any big windy areas in store for Monday. Maybe above normal across northern Minnesota and out over to South Dakota. But overall, things are looking in pretty good shape as far as this is concerned. Now, the pain index is another story. You have some aches and pains in some of the joints. Maybe right along the Gulf Coast from parts of Florida on over to Texas. We're going to start to see an increase in the relative humidity. We've got some moisture that's going to work its way along the coastal areas of Texas. And maybe just a little bit of wind, maybe a little bit of light snow around the lakes. And meanwhile, we don't have any air stagnation to talk about, which is certainly good news.
The Weather Channel is here, working for you 24 hours a day. We'll give you the latest information on weather for work or play. Before making any plans, check out the Weather Channel.
Sun, snow, rain, or fog. Know what to expect. Just 95 cents a minute. Dial 1-900-WEATHER and connect.
Do you toss and turn all night long? Do you wake up with neck and shoulder pain? Try the Contour Pillow, anatomically designed for the natural contour of your head and neck to support and align your spine for a great night's sleep. Look, ordinary pillows lose shape and sag, causing neck tension and back pain. But the Contour Pillow provides gentle orthopedic support. Tense muscles relax. You awake refreshed.
The difference I feel in my neck and my back is really amazing.
Best of all, my husband doesn't snore anymore.
Therapeutic pillows cost $60 or more. Now enjoy the ultimate night's sleep for only $19.95. Order in the next 10 minutes and we'll also include this washable cover absolutely free. Enjoy the best night's sleep you've ever had or return it for a full refund. The Contour Pillow is not available in stores. Order now.
For shipment of your Contour Pillow within 7 days, use your credit card and call 1-800-862-6900 or send $19.95 plus $5.95 shipping and handling to Comfort Track, 1235 East Boulevard, Suite 190, Charlotte, North Carolina.
If you're about to travel, watch the 5-Day Business Planner here on the Weather Channel at 20 minutes after every hour. You get a comprehensive national report that covers the forecast over the next 5 days. Watch the 5-Day Business Planner coming up soon on the Weather Channel. Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel.
Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current conditions. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service.
forecast for cities nationwide. The regional forecast. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
To get your attention, the police use strobe lights. Emergency crews use strobe lights. Even traffic lights are being fitted with them. Now, this proven technology can be yours. Introducing Lightman, a breakthrough in electronic design. Lightman is a rugged, weatherproof, battery-powered, ultra-high-intensity strobe that puts out powerful flashes of light. Visible from every direction, it warns others that you're stopped on the side of the road. Look, headlights are focused less than 100 feet in front of the car, but moving at 55 miles an hour, drivers have less than 2 seconds before they cover that distance. Placing a Lightman 200 feet behind a disabled car can make the difference. Just a simple push of a button and you can place Lightman anywhere, or use the included attachments like the magnet mount, the suction cup, or the belt attachment. An indispensable all-purpose visibility device. It's as necessary as having a smoke detector in your home. Use your credit card to order Lightman for $19.95 plus shipping and handling by calling 1-800-331-7775 or send a check or money order to the address on your screen.
A very cold Sunday across much of the eastern part of the country. Started very crisp with some record lows into Oklahoma City and Little Rock and Arkansas. And the afternoon wasn't a bargain either, despite sunshine and a lot of cold temperatures from the deep south up through the Ohio River Valley. But there were a lot of clouds and some light snow flurries here, and not much of the country at all above normal. Well, the pattern is going to be changing, though, as we head on through the upcoming week. We'll show you details on that in just a bit. Here's cold high pressure from Canada that settled down into the east, brought the crisp weather, and will bring another cool night with some frost advisories out into South Carolina and North Carolina. It's pretty much clearing out all the moisture, too, pushing it out into the Atlantic and Gulf of Mexico. Reinforcing shot of cool air, some clouds, a few flurries with that, but the key here is that it's going to keep it generally dry and cool in the eastern part of the country for the foreseeable future. Our satellite photograph shows where all the moisture is. It's down here with our subtropical jet stream that'll pretty much hug the Gulf Coast states. Could bring a little rain into Texas and Louisiana tomorrow, and then perhaps into central and northern Florida as we head on into Tuesday. But much of the rest of the country, at least for the next day or two, is going to be under the influence of cool, dry air coming on down out of Canada, and that's pretty evident here by the radar picture. Not much out there across the lower 48 this evening. A few light rain showers in Florida, but even here this has been weakening, and even South Florida looking at a little better chance for some sunshine and less of a chance for rain tomorrow. Meanwhile, in the Midwest, we've got a lot of clouds here, just a flurry or two every now and then. Even just warm enough in Rochester, report of a rain shower the past hour, but just a few flurries won't hamper your travels at all here in the Midwest, and that is good news. But as we look on down the road, our pattern is going to change. Right now, it's a cool, dry flow of air. One cool front here, another one kind of coming from the Rockies on into the northern plains. But look what starts showing up by Tuesday. Pretty big kink in the jet stream here. As that drops down, it could turn into a big storm. It could have some big implications on the southwest and eventually the rest of the country. We're going to have details on that forecast for you with Jody coming up next, so stay tuned.
The work week starts out clear and cold, but things could get messy by midweek. Stay with the Weather Channel. We'll tell you what Mother Nature is stirring up. The 5-day forecast coming up.
There's a porcupine in my throat.
Sore throats hurt. That's why we introduced new Trimenic sore throat formula. The first children's medicine made for coughs and colds with sore throats. Trimenic, just tell us where it hurts.
Look for Trimenic at your local pharmacy.
You'd be so nice to come home to.
When When you need to get away but don't think you have the time, bounce back from it all with a weekend at Hilton. Even a few days can feel like a real vacation, especially when you discover how little it costs.
You'd be so nice. You'd be paradise to come home to and love. Explore your
The faces of discovery are the faces of the world. When you set your sights on the fascination of real-world entertainment, find yourself here. The Discovery Channel. Explore your world.
Well, it's time to take a look at the next 5 days, and over the next 5 days, we are going to see some big changes that are going to take place across the country. Now, for some time, all the action, it seems, has been in the east, and the west, for the most part, has been quiet. Well, that's going to change. Right now, this is what the jet stream looks like. Of course, we call this kind of the highway in the sky. It sort of leads the systems across the country. Well, notice the little dip in the eastern United States. That allows the cool air to filter on down. We've seen quite a bit of cool weather across the east for some time now, whereas the west has been quiet and rather dry. As you notice, we have more of a ridging type situation in the west. Well, as we head on through the week, we're going to notice this big dip in the jet stream across the west, and that is going to lead to the potential for some pretty good rains across the western United States. So let's get to the forecast right away. We look on into Monday morning, and we're still watching this front. It's a real slow mover. Not a lot of moisture associated with it. We're seeing maybe a little bit of snow around the lakes. High pressure will build on in a real weak area of high pressure, so not a whole lot of change from one side of the front to the other, really. A little bit of gathering moisture, a possibility across parts of Louisiana and over toward Texas, but overall it looks like Florida's going to have, for the most part, a pretty dry day. For your Monday, the East Coast should be cool and pretty sunny. As we look on into the nighttime hours, temperatures are going to be real chilly across the north once again, even some 20s dipping down into parts of Georgia, South Carolina, frost and freeze advisories. In effect for you and the coastal areas of North Carolina. Will warm you into the 50s for Monday. Still stays rather chilly across the north. For the most part, we're going to be real chilly throughout the week. 20s and 30s across the north. But we notice that temperatures start to warm up slightly. 60s back toward Amarillo and even on toward Dodge City. We could see some 60s back into your forecast. By Thursday, that's when the changes start coming. We see the ridging start to develop across the east, whereas warmer air builds on in here. The cooler air coming into play across the west, we start to see the 40s and the 30s dipping on down to the higher elevations across New Mexico and Arizona. Well, let's talk precipitation. First off, Tuesday, we have that little weak front here. A few light flurries around the lakes, a few showers in Florida and South Texas, getting a little bit more evident on Wednesday here. But look at the big system here start to form. Moving out of the Rockies, we could see some heavy snows by Thursday, and Friday, everything kind of squeaks on eastward with rain in the mid-Mississippi Valley.
Dressing your kids for school can be downright elementary when you watch the school day forecast. Weekday mornings, 35 minutes after the hour on the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to. Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. Today's regional forecast. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
Oh, those dry tissues. Who do they hurt more, you or your kids?
Oh, I'm sorry.
These noses need Puffs Plus, the only tissue with moisturizing lotion with aloe. It's better at soothing a sore nose because it's less irritating than dry tissues.
She's wiping her nose and it's not even running.
It's Molly.
This is a big thing. He never did it himself.
Puffs Plus with moisturizing lotion with aloe. It's first aid for your sore nose.
We used them too. Is that okay?
I think we have a little problem here.
Joey has to come with us on vacation.
Joey's going on vacation with his own family.
I'm not leaving without Joey.
They have fantastic pools at this hotel.
I do everything with Joey.
Well, they have a camp?
Just for kids.
A huge water slide. Ginormous water slide.
Dear Joey, sorry you couldn't be here.
Who'd have thought we'd make such a big splash with everyone?
I'm not going home without Sam.
Hyatt, we thought of everything.
Take a look at that forecast. The Northeast, another crisp morning as you start out, down to 33 in Boston, New York 33, Washington a little above freezing at 34. Now that's in the city. Some of the suburbs will be down into the 20s. So a crisp morning across the Northeast. Pittsburgh should be our coldest, one of our colder big cities, down to 25 degrees. And we are looking for a fair amount of sunshine for the afternoon. Warming up just a bit from today, but still on the cool side. What you'd expect for November. Detroit up to 45, Pittsburgh at 48, and Detroit maybe late in the day into the evening could even get a few snow flurries there. Heading south and east, well, generally going to be dry and chilly. Cool morning readings, 33 at Little Rock, 32 in Atlanta, 34 at Charleston in the morning. Even Miami starting to cool down just a touch at 69 degrees. There is a disturbance, though, that could bring just a touch of some light rain along the coastal sections of Texas on over toward maybe New Orleans. Could even get a spritz by late in the day, but this rain is going to be very, very light. And looks like Florida should dry out, looking for a good afternoon in Miami. Into the Midwest, one cool air mass giving way to another, so typically chilly weather for this time of year. And what else? A few flurries across northern portions of Michigan. Heading on to the west, it's going to be quiet for Monday. Some low clouds giving way to sunshine in L.A., but things could change here as we head later in the week. Details coming up.
The Weather Channel is here, working for you 24 hours a day. We'll give you the latest information on weather for work or play. Before making any plans, check out the Weather Channel.
Dressing your kids for school can be downright elementary when you watch the school day forecast. Weekday mornings, 35 minutes after the hour on the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. Current regional conditions. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. The extended forecast. Special regional information. The forecast for cities nationwide. The regional forecast. Your local radar
showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
You're watching the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to for accurate, dependable weather forecasts 24 hours a day.
The weekend is ending with cold and dry weather, but a change of weather is in sight. Stay with the Weather Channel and we'll tell you when a change is going to come.
And thanks for tuning into the Weather Channel. I'm Jody Salen. Dale Eck is my partner, and we've been talking about a real quiet weather pattern. And this dew point map really explains everything. The reason being, there's nothing going on. We've got dew points in the teens and 20s across the entire nation, and really for any sort of moisture to be happening, we need dew points a little bit higher, especially across the south. When we talk about rain, we've got dew points in the 60s, South Florida. That's where most of the rain has been happening today. But the rest of the country is just so dry that even with the front passing on through, it's been difficult to even pick out any sort of moisture. The real story has been the cool air. We can see temperature departures from this Sunday were around 20 degrees cooler than where we should be around Cincinnati and Louisville, and even down into the deep south where we saw record lows set this morning across Louisiana and back in toward Houston, Texas. That's where the real cool stuff has been. Temperature's still running about 5 degrees above normal across California and on over toward Reno, Nevada. As far as temperatures are concerned right now, we have a little bit of a warming trend that has taken place across the Plains states today. Just a few days ago, we had real brutally cold air here. Now temperatures have risen a bit back into the 40s, 40 degrees right now in Grand Island, 30 up in Rapid City, and a little bit of light flurry activity flying around parts of North Dakota over toward Hibbing and Duluth, and then we pick up a little bit of light snow around Marquette. But the key word here is light. Everything has been really light, very quiet out there. 43 Atlanta, Georgia, we've had cool air in place across the deep south. 40 degrees with mostly clear skies right now in New York City. And the good news is the winds haven't really been a factor out there. The wind chills aren't anywhere below 0. Feels like 5. That's one of the cooler spots on the map around Minneapolis, St. Paul. And of course, we did see a little bit of light flurry activity in the Minneapolis region earlier on today. Caused the folks that were out walking to have a little bit of problem on the sidewalks. There can become a little bit slick. And you can see the little tunnel there that allows you to get from one place to another without even braving the outdoor scene. It looks like temperatures are going to be in the mid-30s as we head on into tomorrow. Maybe a few flurries around the Minneapolis area. All right, back to the maps we go then. And our satellite photograph is fairly quiet as well. We have this area of clouds associated with the frontal system, and we have some gathering clouds across parts of Texas and Louisiana. Shows us that our subtropical jet stream is becoming just a little bit more active, but really the map is quiet. We've got rain right around Rochester right now and light snow behind this front, and we also have a little bit of light snow in the northeast as well. Southwesterly breeze around Buffalo. We're going to see some lake effect snow, very light, maybe an inch, maybe 2 inches, and that's just about the story. And you can see on the radar picture things are quiet. The snow is just so light out there the radar can't even detect where it's falling. Here's the light rain in southeastern Minnesota and the light snow on back throughout South Dakota and the UP of Michigan, but really that is just about it. Let's talk about our jet stream right now. We've got a dip in the jet stream across the eastern United States, allowing the cool air to funnel on down. Meanwhile, more of a ridging situation across the west. Well, things are going to change, and that's what we're going to be talking about this week. We notice a glimpse of a little dip here in the northwest, and by the time we head on to Friday, that dip moves on into parts of the mountains. So we could have a pretty good snow event happening as we head on through midweek across the western United States. So that's what we're going to be following this week. Not so much what is happening right now, but what is going to happen. Now, as we head on through Monday, here's our front across the north. It's going to be a slow mover. Eventually, it's going to just fall apart, really. Light snow around the lakes. That's about it. A few rain showers could spread on across southern portions of Louisiana, back on toward Houston and Corpus Christi. And for the most part, it looks like Florida, they're going to be fairly quiet. Rainfall, well, we could maybe see a ½ inch if we're lucky here, but it's going to be real light, just enough to maybe bring the umbrella with you to work tomorrow just in case. And snow is going to be light as well. We could pick up anywhere to 1 to 3 inches. Most places are just going to see a dusting. Some of the lake effect areas with the southwesterly wind blowing over the lakes, we could see a little bit of heavier snow around the tip of the lake there. Temperatures are going to be basically in the 20s, 30s right close to the lake here. And those 20s are going to dip rather far to the south, so we've got frost and freeze warnings and advisories for South Carolina and the North Carolina coast. Now, Monday, notice a lot of blue across the north. Well, that's basically where it's going to stay into Tuesday. We also have a moderation across the south with our temperatures jumping into the 60s in some cases here. 80s hang on across the southern parts of California and Arizona. And then on Thursday, here's the glimpse of what's going to happen. We start to see cooler air moving into the mountainous regions now. That's going to help, hopefully, in bringing some snow to some of the ski resorts out there. On Tuesday, a few light flurries across the north, showers across Florida and South Texas as the front stretches on through the area. Things in the east start to quiet down, and the west becomes more busy. Pretty good snow event for the mountains here on Thursday. Then everything kind of shifts eastward on into the middle part of the nation, and the two coasts dry out.
Explore your world.
The faces of discovery are the faces of the world. When you set your sights on the fascination of real-world entertainment, find yourself here. The Discovery Channel. Explore your world.
Dressing your kids for school can be downright elementary when you watch the school day forecast. Weekday mornings, 35 minutes after the hour on the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to. Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Current regional conditions. Special regional information. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Your region's long-range outlook. The regional forecast. The extended forecast. Your local radar, showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
Nobody does it like you, the way that you do. Hoover, nobody does it like you.
Look for fine Hoover products at a retailer near you.
The real triumph of this year's newest sleek Euro design is how much fun it gives to the gallon. Introducing the all-new water-saving shower massage. Does your Genie screwdrive door opener work?
It just kind of whirls. It goes...
I push the button on the garage and the door opens just like that.
It's kind of like a long screw that just kind of steadily draws the door up on an even pace. As opposed to a chain, and if you've ever seen a chain on a bicycle, you'll know that it jerk, 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 The thing I don't like about bicycle chains is bicycle chains have links in them, and links tend to come undone.
Genie screwdrive, built for a lifetime.
Seasonal Solutions is sponsored by Genie Garage Door Openers, built for a lifetime.
As the weather turns colder, you'll probably want to spend less and less time outside, and that means your automatic garage door opener will start getting a real workout. So now is a good time to review some garage door safety rules. First, check your opener on a regular basis. Once a month is best, and pay special attention to the automatic reverse mechanism. First, check it with a 2x4 laid flat, then with a small cardboard box. If it fails to reverse with either of these, have it adjusted immediately. Next, test the door's balance. Disengage the automatic motor and manually raise the door to waist height, then release it. The door should remain in place. If it moves up or down, have it adjusted by a professional. Finally, check the cables for fraying by running a rag along them. If the rag catches or tears, have the cables checked by a professional. Automatic garage door openers can make life a lot easier, but no amount of convenience is worth your family's safety.
Pile up the logs and pull out the blankets. Cold weather has arrived. We'll see just how long these temperatures will stick around next on the Weather Channel.
We take a red tomato, fluffiest mashed potato this side of Idaho. We make the mean lean cuisine. We take the angel hair pasta, toast it with lots of wicked marinara. We make the mean lean cuisine. We take ooh la la French cut green beans, roasted chicken like you never ever seen. Don't forget the real lean cuisine, real mean.
Hey, genius, can I get my airline tickets? Huh?
Oh, look, we're going to need you to pitch in on that budget analysis.
You know, I'd love to, but, you know, I'm on the road at the Hyatt.
Okay. Mr. Dennis, I can call the Hyatt and they can get you a computer. And an in-room fax machine so you can do all the work you need to do right there.
Gee, thanks, Liz.
Great. I'll tell him you're in.
I'll be on that first plane out in the morning.
I booked you on the red eye.
Hyatt. We've thought of everything.
This business travel forecast is sponsored by Hyatt Hotels and Resorts. Hyatt, we've thought of everything.
Dressing your kids for school can be downright elementary when you watch the school day forecast. Weekday mornings, 35 minutes after the hour on the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to.
Weather information you need, whenever you need it. Direct to you by telephone. Call your source of weather information, the Weather Channel Connection.
I took diet pills. I lost 34 pounds.
6 months later, the weight came back.
That's when I decided to get off the diet roller coaster and get on a Nordic Track.
In fact, Nordic Track is so easy to stick with that after 5 years, 7 out of 10 Nordic Track owners still use their Nordic Track skiers an average of 3 times a week.
It's been more than 2 years. The weight's still off, and I'm still on my Nordic Track. You should give Nordic Track a try.
Call now for a free video and brochure. Take weight off and keep it off. Nordic Track introduces the Weight Loss Satisfaction Guarantee. Research shows that Nordic Track's total body workout burns more calories than exercisers that only work your legs. Discover what numerous customers have found. With regular exercise on Nordic Track, you can take weight off and keep it off. And we're so confident you'll lose weight too, we guarantee it. We'll guarantee that you'll lose at least 10 pounds in 60 days or your money back. Call now for a free video and brochure. Ask about our 60-day weight loss satisfaction guarantee.
You're watching the Weather Channel for accurate forecasts at your convenience. Weather you can always turn to. Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current conditions. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. forecast for cities nationwide. The regional forecast. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
Arco Air. Arco Air. Arco Air.
Mr. Wilson? Mr. Wilson? Mr. Wilson, your new Arco Air furnace is installed. Everything's nice and cozy now.
You saved my life.
Always glad to help.
Crazy dream.
Arco Air. The name to know when the other one goes.
See your local Arco Air dealer today for a heating and cooling system you can be comfortable with.
In this house, I have no time for colds. My husband's a doctor and can give me anything, but he recommends Dymatap Extend-Tabs. Dymatap controls my sneezing and nasal congestion no matter how bad it gets. It's strong medicine, so strong, one tablet lets me keep going all day long.
Doctors have recommended the Dymatap brand over 200 million times for their families and yours.
Trust is everything, and my husband trusts Dymatap.
Well, we don't have a whole lot of winter-type weather to talk about, but we have a lot of cool readings to talk about. Early this morning, several locations across the Deep South saw record lows, anywhere from Paducah, Kentucky, all the way down to Houston. A pretty chilly start to your day. In fact, let's take a look at some of the numbers here. Burns, Oregon, not the coolest in the nation, 9 degrees, but fairly close. Even down into Texarkana, 23 degrees. That was a tie. Oklahoma City coming in with 23, and that cool air made it all the way down to Birmingham and Shreveport. And the list goes on all the way up into, as I mentioned, the Paducah area, Baton Rouge, 28 degrees. That was a tie for this November 7th. Now, as we head on into the afternoon hours, still some really chilly air in place across the eastern part of our country. We saw temperatures running about 10 to, in some cases, 20 degrees below where they should be for this date. So the trend continues where the east continues to be rather chilly and the west overall continues to be rather warm. You can see through California, temperatures are about 5 degrees above normal. Well, that's going to change because we're seeing a pattern switch, whereas it looks like the eastern United States is going to warm up just a little bit, and it looks like it's going to become rather stormy across the west as a trough digs in the western United States. Now, as we head on through the evening hours and overnight, it's going to be real cool. We're expecting 20s to dip all the way down to near Valdosta, Georgia. Around the Carolinas, we've got some frost and freeze advisories for you, and the 60s will try to hang on across South Florida. And the north, once again, a rather chilly night across, the Arrowhead region, or the northern parts of Minnesota, I should say, temperatures in the single digits. Here's where the frost advisories are in effect in the areas in purple and pink, right on up to the coastal areas of North Carolina in the overnight hours. And the reason being, well, this area of high pressure is responsible for all the chilly air that we have seen for the last several days across the east. Well, it's kind of a sprawling area of high pressure all the way down to the Gulf Coast states. And we're just talking about a little bit of light snow associated with this front back behind. We've got light snow scattered from Duluth on over toward Dickinson, North Dakota. And out ahead of it, just warm enough to cause a little bit of light rain around Rochester, Minnesota. We're going to have to watch right here across Lake Erie and Lake Ontario because some locations could maybe see a little bit more in the way of snowfall right along the tip of the lakes. We could see 1 to 3 inches, maybe a few places, isolated places could pick up a little bit more than 3 inches of snow. So that's going to be the areas that we're watching for the wintry travel in the evening hours. As we head on through your Monday afternoon, our front is generally in the same location, a few light flurries right behind it, and gathering moisture across the Gulf Coast states. So we're going to detail the forecast right now. Starting out in the northeast, a cool night in store here. skies are mostly clear aside from right around the lake. So 33 New York, a little chilly up toward Albany. And then tomorrow, here comes the sun. The temperature is just a little below normal, but it looks like as we head on through midweek, things are going to start to warm up across the northeast. And we could use some warming here, too. It's been real cool. And as we head on into tomorrow, we're going to have some sunshine for you, and maybe a few showers are going to squeak on out around Biloxi and over toward Brownsville. But the key is it's going to be very light precipitation where this is concerned. Up to the north, cool stuff, Duluth, Bismarck. As we head into tomorrow, we're going to see a few light flurries that are still going to linger around the lake, but a pretty nice warm-up around Lexington and on over toward North Platte. In the western United States, look for temperatures slightly cooler than they were today, but we're still going to have the sun from Vegas to Salt Lake City.
Getting ready to hit the road? Don't leave home without checking our Traveler's Update for all the information you need to reach your destination safely and on time, coming up on the Weather Channel.
There's a porcupine in my throat.
Sore throats hurt. That's why we introduced new Triaminic sore throat formula. The first children's medicine made for coughs and colds with sore throats. Triaminic, just tell us where it hurts.
Look for Trimedic at your local pharmacy.
How does your Genie screwdriver door opener work?
Push the button on the garage and the door opens just like that.
As opposed to a chain, and if you've ever seen a chain on a bicycle, you'll know that it jerk, 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 jerk,
Genie screwdriver, built for a lifetime.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current conditions. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Forecast for cities nationwide. Forecast. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
The Travel Channel's new faces will bring you the world's greatest places. Travel the back roads of America with Charles Kuralt. Take an environmental journey with Christopher Reeve. Take off on an exotic adventure with supermodel Kim Alexis. Taste the flavors of the world with food guru Bert Wolf. Or go for broke with the always exciting Chuck Emery. The Travel Channel. It's a whole new world. If you don't have the Travel Channel, call your cable operator today.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
Do you suffer from pain? New from Hot Dots, the Universal BioCard System. Call now for superior U.S. technology designed for use on knees, backs, wrist, elbow, and more. The BioCard is a new alternative that may provide relief for you.
I love to bowl, and with my BioCard, I can do it again.
Thanks to my BioCard, my wrist doesn't hurt anymore.
Thanks to BioCard, I'm putting in some overtime.
It's incredible. I thought I was going to miss our state softball tournament, but with BioCard, I'm able to play.
If you have pain, call now. 1-800-888-1844. That's 1-800-888-1844. Only $19.95. The American-made BioCard may help you. Order now.
And now it's time for the Michelin Drivers Report, brought to you by Michelin and your participating Michelin dealers.
Well, not much that's going to impede your travels overnight or for the morning rush hours we head into Monday. A little light rain out there across the Rio Grande Valley may affect I-35, perhaps eventually I-10 as we head on through the day, but really not much in the way of precipitation out there. A little light rain perhaps in South Florida too, but most of that will be over with by the morning hours tomorrow. As we take a look at radar, you can see there's hardly anything to be found. Not much rain showing up in Texas yet, the rain decreasing in Florida. A few radar echoes here across the north, and as we take a look at our snowy travel map, well, you may find just a little bit of snow that'll cover the turnpike or thruway there across New York State. So a little bit there, especially east of Lake Erie and Ontario, but even there it's going to be not any big problems with the travel conditions. Fog will be building in along the west coast, though, Southern California and the Northwest. Big changes coming in the west, though. Details coming up.
The work week starts out clear and cold, but things could get messy by midweek. Stay with the Weather Channel. We'll tell you what Mother Nature is stirring up. The 5-day forecast coming up.
For regional Michelin drivers reports, call 1-900-WEATHER for 95 cents a minute and connect.
Let it rain. Let it snow. You've got Michelin's new all-season MXV4. A luxury performance tire with a very special feature. Climate control. Michelin. Because so much is riding on your tires.
Find Michelin tires at this dealer near you because so much is riding on your tires.
Dressing your kids for school can be downright elementary when you watch the school day forecast. Weekday mornings, 35 minutes after the hour on the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to. Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. Current regional conditions. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. The extended forecast. Special regional information. The forecast for cities nationwide. Your local radar, showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.